Yeah, you know what I really hate, and I'll get to your supers here in just a second. You know what I really hate? I hate those and I don't know how this is motivational, but I hate those motivational posters that it'll show like this galaxy, like Crab Nebula or whatever, Orion or whatever, and it's like, and then it'll have a little arrow or something. It's pointing to some like random dot because they don't know where the hell it is, but they'll point to it like, this is you. This is where the Earth is. It's this teeny little dust spot in the middle of this galaxy of a bajillion, planets and God knows how many galaxies and blah, blah, blah. But the point is this is like, oh, don't sweat the small stuff. You're really insignificant. Even Earth is insignificant in the grand scope of things. And they're like, that's not really inspiring to me. All that makes me want to do is get nihilistic or just like not do anything. But the reason why it pisses me off is because I don't give a flying fuck. I honestly don't, because right here, right now is important. What I'm doing right now is important. What you're doing right now is important. And that's the only frame of reference we have. I don't care if we're this little tiny little dust mote in the galaxy on some insignificant, surrounding some insignificant star. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. Well, if you think about things like that, when are you going to do big stuff? When are you going to impact things? When are you going to when are you going to put the dent in the universe? When are you going to, and people say, well, who cares? In the end, it's all over and you're not going to worry about it. Well, yeah, but you know what matters? Right here, right now. My mom, man, I remember this one. You want story time? Here's story time for Rollo Tomasi, right? I can remember when my mom would my brother and I my brother was actually a competitive bodybuilder. He was in the amateur circle anyways, back during like the mid 90s, like early to mid 90s. And I was never like a competitive bodybuilder, but I'd work out. My brother and I would work out, and we were really into like, physical fitness and Joe Weider, Muscle and Fitness magazine and Flex and all that stuff. We were really into my brother more than I was. Of course, that was my rock star years, but I was into it because it worked real good. But my brother and I were, we were always comparing notes and everything. And my mom once said, I think it was like Thanksgiving, and my mom said to us, you guys look good, but you could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Like, all this work and all this energy and stuff, it could be just for nothing, like as if, and that was stereotypical Mama Tomasi, right? And my brother and I were looking at each other, and I go, yeah, but I look good now, but I want to look good now. I think my brother made the joke and say, yeah, if I get hit by a bus, at least I'll look good when I'm in the coffin or whatever, and, I thought it was funny because it's like, what is important to you? Is your comfort more important to you, or is looking good important to you? Who cares? Who cares about all that stuff? Who cares about this? I get that all the time. Every goddamn Rule Zero show. Who cares? Well, apparently you do, because you're here for the 2 hours that we're doing this. You care enough to do a drive-by comment on the show. You care. That's who cares. I care enough because that's what I do. I don't give advice. I just give analysis, more or less. And if you guys want to take that and use those as tools to build yourself up, great. But what are you doing it for? If you don't care, then don't care. Go work on, there's probably better things you can do with your time if you don't care about this. But a lot of people do care. And the reason why they do, and I think we have to be kind of self-important to some degree. You have to be self-important and conceited enough to say, you know what? I'm going to go on living. I'm going to do the work. Well, who cares? Because in the end, you're just going to be this insignificant little dust mote in the galaxy, right? Yeah. It's all about me, though, right? You have to be a little bit narcissistic. You have to be a little bit conceited, because without that, what's the point? You might as well be sedated. You might as well go into a coma. Go be a vegetable. If that's the attitude. But see, the thing is like that's discontent. That's just destructively dealing with discontent. There's ways to constructively do it. And it's like, I'm going to do it because I think I could. People ask me, how did you get into writing books, or what was oh no, I know what it was. It's all this motivational stuff. It's usually like, you got to get past the fear of rejection or the fear of failure. I've never feared failure. Failure If you're a guy, by the way, and most of you are, expect rejection. That's pretty much the defining characteristic of most men's lives. Men will experience rejection way more than women will. For over the course of a lifetime, on average, you will definitely experience rejection way more than women do. So it's not fear of like failing for guys. It's not a fear of like rejection. It's not a fear of falling on your ass and being embarrassed. It's just like, if you want to know why people don't get off their ass, it's just because they're lazy. They're unmotivated. They don't think they can do it. And it's not about fear of failure or even fear of success. It's about just not believing that you could actually get to from point A to point B or change something about yourself. That's what it is. It's not fear. The reason why like motivational guys talk about fear is because it seems like the easiest thing. Well, everybody experiences fear. It's an emotion. Let's appeal to emotion. Most people don't feel fear about like falling on their ass or I'll be embarrassed if I fail. No, you'll be an idiot. Yeah, but you'll learn something and you'll get something out of it. I love how the same people who say, oh, well, people are fearful of failure are also the same ones who are like, you should be able to laugh at yourself. Well, what is it? Like a self-deprecation or fear of failure? And I don't know. It's like maybe it's just salesmanship or whatever, but it's not so much about fear. It's if I fear anything, it's not getting enough done before I check out. God damn it, man. I mean, it's like when it comes to like when it comes to doing stuff, when I think about Pat's life, man, I don't think Pat set out to go, okay, I better get this done. I better get that. Maybe at the end, but like who he was before when I knew him, but when he, prior to his accident and discovering he had brain cancer, he wasn't going, I better get all this shit done. It was already done. He'd done it. That's what he wanted to do. He figured it out along the way. Do the work. He's like, fuck you. I've been doing the work for God knows how long, how old he is. He just does it because he does it. There's a quote. Maybe it's fortune cookie stuff, right? But I always thought about this when I think about like greyhounds, like, because as you know, I recondition greyhounds and I've been a greyhounder for a very long time. And there's this quote that, winners don't know that they're in a race. They just love to run. And I always think of greyhounds when I think about that. They just love to run. They don't care. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe they're competitive or whatever, but like they just love to run. And I always have to kind of throw that one in the face of people who are sort of like anti-racing when it comes to greyhound racing. And in some cases it can be cruel. I'm not going to say it's not, but they go, oh my gosh, I can't believe they forced those dogs to go get on that track and run after that fake bunny around the track. That's what they're bred to do. That's what they're born to do. That's what they love to do. God knows, man, I'm out there like chasing after Ned all day long because that's what he was born to do. He loves to run. Bambi loves to run too. Every greyhound I ever had loves to run. They don't know they're in a race. They just love to run. And I think that might be, again, fortune cookie Zen shit. But as best I can put this, it's like, what do you enjoy doing? What Pat enjoyed doing, what he got into. He fell into. I almost want to say that there's no way Pat couldn't have been a talk show host. He couldn't have been he couldn't have not been who he was. Because it wasn't about motivation. It's just like he loved doing what he was doing. And he was a winner as a result of that. I love doing this so much. I'm just going to keep doing this because I dig it. I do it for the sheer joy of doing this. Oh, it's your purpose. Well, okay, maybe it is, but you do it because it's intrinsically rewarding to you. I don't think enough guys really discovered that about themselves along the way. What is intrinsically rewarding? I had this conversation again with Sterling and Tom and Justin. It's like, what would you do for free? What would you do if you weren't like I think we were talking about like the brand of me and like, I'm doing this right now. Well, you're doing this because we're making money off of super chats. Okay. My question is this: if we're going to talk about like the brand of me and we're going to talk about like everybody's their own personal brand, we got into talking about how it's very difficult not to think in terms of being your own brand manager for a long time. Like, what do you enjoy doing that you don't get paid for, that you will do anyways? And I kind of worry about guys who make a lot of money in this crazy hustle economy, this sphere. Let's create a YouTube channel so I can quit my day job and I can be a full-time YouTuber and make lots of money, right? A lot of guys get into it because their shitty cubicle job sucks, and they're like, I would much rather be sitting in here, 3 or 4 hours a day bullshitting with people and making money, ad dollars and super chats. Wow, that's a great idea. I'm going to leave my job, quit it, and go and do this. Great. The problem is that becomes all you are. You become the brand. Your personality, your online persona becomes you, and that persona is your brand. So you are your brand all the time. So, but when you're off, when I turn the camera off, when everything, I log out, end broadcast, who are you when you're offline? Or do you even get offline, or do you immediately go get on your phone or your tablet or whatever? Who are you once you get offline? What would you do for free? What are your hobbies? Hobbies should, I think a lot of people think of hobbies as sort of like these low level things they're trying to figure out and see if they can make money at it. Like, oh, if you can just make your hobbies your profession or your vocation, then you'll have fun all the time. No, you won't, because then the dynamic shifts and you're not doing it for the same thing. You don't enjoy it in the same way because you have to do it instead of you want to do it. And that's kind of analogous, by the way, to genuine desire. Do you want to be with that person, or do you have to be? Are you obligated to do that? Do you want to do do you want to play guitar? Do you want to paint? Do you want to draw? Do you want whatever your creative outlet is, whatever your hobbies are? Do you want to play? I don't care, whatever your hobbies are. Do you want to do that, or do you have to do that? Does your hobbies, what does it say? What do they say? Treat it like a hobby and it pays you like a hobby. Treat it like a job and it'll pay you like a job. Well, once you've decided that you want to do this as a job, then it ceases to become a hobby. Now, is it something that you would do for free? Is it something that you enjoy enough that you're like, you know what, I'm just going to do that? Do you go to the gym because you enjoy lifting weights? Or do you go to the gym because you're like, well, this is the means to the end. I want to get jacked. And then once I'm at the jacked state, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be content. Or is it about the journey, right? Is it about the progress, the process? They always tell you, trust the process, right? Is it about the process? Maybe the process is the actual purpose of you doing it, rather than, I'm going to go compete in the Mr. Olympia, which I'm never going to. But I think that when we realize what it is that we enjoy doing, what we desire, we have a genuine desire for, you will understand, I think, desire a little bit more when it comes to, I always say, you can't negotiate desire. That has a lot more meaning, or a lot more definition, a lot more scope than just getting with your chick, right? I want a girl, so I own her soul. Okay, that's a little over the top fresh, but the principle's the same. I want genuine desire. Well, that's in an interpersonal perspective. What about genuine desire for what it is you want to do? People who want to be involved in your life, not just women, maybe your family. What do you want? What do you genuinely want to do? What are you rewarded by intrinsically that is going to be your body of work when you are older, when you get to your deathbed? I hate that. Oh, that's another thing. By the way, the number one thing I really hate is those don't sweat the small stuff, motivational posters. The other one is like, it just be, just sort of like, be who you are, be what you are. Like, was it living my truth? Right? Don't judge me kind of thing.